Good evening, chaps. Do you also love it when you lose in the arena mode against kids?
That's right! Get no scopes! Get no scopes!
Now after you've watched this video, I promise you will never ever have to feel the embarrassment of getting quickscoped by a 13-year-old again.
Get no scopes!
Because I'm gonna be teaching you how you can win every single game you enter easily. Now first of all, you gotta know a basic rule of all arena maps. There will always be 3 items next to you whenever you spawn. That will always be a gun, and there will always be a bandage and an additional item. Probably like a magazine or a backpack or something like that. Now the first key is, of course, you go for that gun directly. You never do anything else. You don't loot bandages or backpacks or anything you see. You just go straight away into the first house that you're standing next to and pick up that gun. I see way too many people just picking up backpacks and bandages, even if it's on your way. Don't pick it up. Just go for the first gun you see and pick it up and try to kill any players around you. Now here's another small tip. If you lie down while you've picked up the gun, you will be able to hear footsteps relatively easily. So as an example here, I'm lying down and I'm hearing the guys coming from a certain direction. So I can turn towards him and start shooting at him without him even realizing that I'm there. So you really shouldn't step in the first 10 or 20 seconds. You're just gonna grab that gun, lie down, and then you're gonna listen for steps and kill your first person. Now, after you've killed your first person, that's the point where you want to grab all the additional loot. So you search the house for maybe a backpack or a bandage or any additional attachments, maybe if you find some. And that's probably the most important time of the game, because you're setting yourself up for the mid game. You know, you're making yourself ready, you're organizing your items and everything like that. Now, you gotta make sure at this point that you have at least 2 or 3 bandages, maybe a med kit and some spare ammo, and of course a gun. I guess you already have one if you've survived to that point. Now let's just consider the case you don't have the items right now. You need, as an example, a few more bandages because you don't have any medkits right now or no bandages. So what you're gonna do right now, you're gonna look around and you're gonna search for the house that is next to you. You will never ever run across the whole map just to a single big house that you think might contain good loot. Like as an example, the white house, the big white one, or the big brown house. Don't go towards those places, just go to the next house. It will always have loot in there, and it will always have at least 1 bandage. You don't need to run across the whole map. So if you're missing an item, like a magazine, like a bandage, or anything, just go to the next house that is the closest to you and search in that house, okay? After you won't find anything in that house, you can still go on and go to another house, to another one, but never move too far. You should never be outside of houses, because people will spot you if you run around outside of houses, and they will shoot you very easily, especially if they have a sniper or something. You are dead in a few seconds if you run outside or on the street a lot. After this mid-game phase, there will be the endgame phase. There will only be about 3 or 4 people left, and there are very important steps you need to take in order to win that endgame.
Win, 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 no matter what.
Key about setting yourself up for the endgame is actually just going towards the center. You don't need to be perfectly in the center, but just try to get as close to the center as possible. And keep in mind what I told you before, never run across a street or somewhere over an open field. Always go from house to house, and always when you enter a house, be very careful, because players can be in that house. So what I like to do whenever I go into a new house, I'm going prone, so I can hear footsteps or shooting or maybe anything. I just like to work with my headset, because it's very easy to hear people, and therefore very easy to find them afterwards. And always keep in mind, never get too greedy. Whenever you kill somebody and he's lying on the street, do not loot him. Because as long as you still have enough ammo and have a few bandages and a good primary weapon, you really do not need to loot anything. Because, you know, it's not like survival. If you leave the stuff there, it will despawn afterwards anyways. It's just about winning or losing. And if you go out on the street and try to loot a weapon or maybe just a few magazines, you're very likely to get shot during that time. So it's really not worth going out on an open field just for a few mags. So always keep in mind, during the endgame, never attack a player, only defend yourself. Stay alive, stay in cover as long as you can, and stay close to the center. And then, once you're very close to the center, the other guy that is still alive will have to move towards you. He will have to give up his cover, have to move towards you, and once he's moving, you can peek and kill him. And that's all the keys, that's how it works. It's not that difficult actually, if you practice it and do it a few times with all those steps that I told you. And always keep in mind, first, go for the gun, don't do anything else, kill a first person, then gear up to only move as much as you need to, and then afterwards, go to the center and only defend yourself. Do not attack anyone that you don't need to attack, and then you should be good to go. And you will at least, in your future games, get under the top 5 players of every server, and maybe you will even be able to win some rounds. Definitely tell me in the comments down below if it worked for you, and if you've won any games after that tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. I see you guys. Until next time.